Hello and welcome everyone to our dedicated DataGrids session. DataGrids are a fundamental feature in your platform. You'll find them on most pages that you open. So the more you get to know about DataGrids, the better. Today, we'll be looking at all things DataGrids, from the basic structure of a data grid to sharing your data grid filters, and also exporting out your data for analysis externally from accessplanit. Everything that we're covering today is available in your accessplanit platform as standard. So there are no add-on modules being covered today. So if you have any questions while we go through this session, please submit these as we go, and I'll cover all of these at the end. And finally, this session is being recorded, so it will be available in our on-demand webpage later if anyone needs to drop out early, or if you'd like to share this with any of your colleagues who unfortunately can't make it today.
So today we'll begin by explaining core concepts of data grids, their layout and how data is organised. We'll then move on to look at how you can update your own data grid views to make sure you're seeing information that supports you and saves you time. Then we'll have a look at how you can filter and search through the data in your data grids to find the items you are interested in. We'll take a look at bulk options, including bulk edit, for how you can manage your information in mass and save a lot of admin time. And finally, we'll wrap up by talking about the dynamic links that are available in your data grids and how you can use these as shortcuts.
Nice one. As usual, we're going to start with some quick introductions from us. I'm Sean.
And I am Hannah, and we are both customer support advisors here at accessplanit. One of our key roles is to support you with getting to grips with your platform, answering any questions you have, support you with setting up new features and troubleshooting any issues.
Thank you, Hannah. Before we get into the detail, here is a quick overview of the layout of data grids. So each data grid contains information about a specific area or module. So here's a good example for you. It's the classroom courses data grid. Each column in your data grid represents information from the same module. For example, the class courses data grid contains information such as the start date and the end date of the course, or the venue of the course, for example. Each of these pieces of info are available as columns on your data grid. In contrast, each row on your data grid represents an item. For example, on your class courses data grid, each row represents a classroom course. So here we've got a pretty standard example of a row. It's a first aid and work course running on the 11th of August 2025. So just to quickly recap, when we're looking at data grid structure, each column represents a piece of information, and every row represents an item.
Data grids are a fantastic day-to-day reporting tool because they can completely be changed in a couple of minutes to display the information you need. They can be filtered to only the results you're interested in and sorted with the most relevant results at the top. Your data grids are there to be updated potentially multiple times a day. They're there to be dynamic and suit the activity you're working on. First, let's take a look at removing columns to declutter your data grid, removing any columns that you don't need right now. Just right-click on the column heading, select Remove Column, and voila, it's gone.
Voila.
To view additional useful information within your data grids, you will use the Change Columns button from the top right of the data grid. Click the Change Column button, and then click the plus button to add a new column in. Select which column you would like to include. So in this case, we're going to be doing trainer names. And then click Apply to update the data grid.
Nice.
To view the most important information at the top of your data grid, or to view the items in your data grid in a logical order, you can sort your results. To apply a temporary sort, click on the column headings. Clicking again will switch between ascending and descending. To apply a more permanent sort that will be remembered the next time you open your data grid, set your sorting by the Change Column button and then click Apply. Finally, it's always helpful to have the columns in your data grid listed in a logical order. Here is a quick example of a data grid set that is hard to read and is likely to cause some mistakes. The end date is before the start date, which has a date created to it next to it, which is a little bit of a weird layout. To adjust your columns to put them in a logical order, click the Change Column button, and then click and hold the arrow buttons and drag the columns to where you would like them to be positioned. While we're here, we'll sort out our data grids to show us courses that have been created most recently, and then apply.
Nice one. Applying filters to your data grids changes the items that are displayed. So filters are commonly used to sift through your data to limit the results of your data grid. So you're only showing relevant items, for example, courses that are in the future. They're also used to look for patterns, for example, to only show cancelled courses. They're also used to speed up the time it takes to complete your actions. For example, if we only show courses in the future that have a status of available, we know that those ones need their attendance marking. So let's look at the filters bar for a class courses data grid. Filters bar contains your commonly used filters. Your own filters bar will likely contain very different filters to these, though there may be some overlap. In this example, there are no filters applied, and you can tell this because they are all grey, a bit like my hair. When we click on the filters button on the right-hand side, you can access additional filters. For this data grid, there are 3, and these include a not advertised filter, another that was made to specifically show mental well-being courses, and one for courses that have already taken place, but not changed to the status of completed. I'm now going to take you through an example of a one-off filter. In this scenario, we want to see a list of all future courses assigned to the trainer, Peter. Now we're going to start by selecting the Create New option from the Filters dropdown. This lets us select filter criteria. The first criteria that we want is to only show courses with a start date in the time period future. The second is to only show courses assigned to Peter. We recommend using ID options rather than trainer names because it only lets you type in trainer names, whereas the ID, if we just select that from the dropdown, that gives us a select option. So this is great for avoiding any typos. Now the filter requires both criteria to be in place. By clicking Preview, you can see your ad hoc filter applied to your data grid. And if you would like to use this filter again at a later date, you need to provide it with a name and save it. It will then be applied to the filters bar as an applied filter. You can see which filters are applied because they are highlighted in blue, and single clicking the filter allows you to apply or unapply them. If you'd like to remove the filter from the bar, click the X icon on the right, and it will then appear in the filters drop-down list instead. To edit existing filters from your filters bar, you just need to double click on them. When you're editing a filter, it will then turn orange. From here, you can make changes to your filters criteria or change the name of the filter. You can also cancel any changes and delete the filter from here. If you have built a particularly useful data grid filter that you think someone on your team will benefit from, or if you have a new member of staff and you'd like to share all of your data grid filters with them, there is a sharing option. To do this, click on the Filters button and select the Share Filters option. Now from the pop-up window that appears, choose which filters you would like to share, and then you just need to select who you'd like to share them with. Once you've done that, you click the Copy button to confirm the share. This will then add the selected filters to their data grids, effectively giving them a copy of each filter. So any changes they make will not be resynced back to your own data grid. So then you don't have to worry about anyone messing around with your own filters. It'll give them their own unique copy. Now, the final area that I'm going to cover on finding key items in your data grid is the search. Now, the data grid search helps you to find specific items that you need to work on. Whether you're looking for a user, a group of courses, or a resource, the search bar helps you to narrow down your data grid results quickly. Each of your searches has a search criteria button where you can select what information you are searching for. Now, we can search for first to see all the courses that contain the word first in their label. We can also search for a specific course ID, and that'll show us that one course that has that ID. If we wanted to see all courses with a trainer called Peter, right now that is not included in our search criteria, so we won't get any results when we search for Peter. But when we add trainer names to the criteria, we just select it from the drop down, there we go. Now a search for Peter will include Peter's courses. Now, the less options you have selected for the search criteria, the more precise your search results will be. Now, I'm now going to pass over to Hannah again, who's going to talk you through bulk editing your data grids.
Bulk edit is where you can make updates to multiple items all at the same time. The bulk edit can be a huge time saver as your bulk updates are completed with just a few clicks. Whether you are bulk changing the status of delegates, bulk changing the PO numbers on some invoices, or advertising all your summer courses, bulk edit means that you can accurately, quickly, and easily complete your updates. First of all, you can use the bulk edit option in your data grid to amend the information for multiple items at once. For example, marking multiple courses as advertised. Let's first apply a filter to only see courses that are currently advertised and start in the future. Then we'll select the courses we want to advertise. Open the bulk edit options. Select what information we'd like to edit for these selected courses. Check the checkbox and then click Save to apply. Those courses have now hidden because our data grid filter only shows us non-advertised courses.
Nice one.
In addition to the bulk edit options, there is also the mass action options available beside the select all options on some of your data grids. For example, you can send emails about multiple items. So if we wanted to send an email to delegates, you would head over to the delegates data grid, apply filters if you need to, select which delegates you'd like to email, and then use the mass action option to email. This will send them an ad hoc email. You can also commit your temporary invoices in bulk too, using the mass action option. Here we have the options available in the invoices data grid. You can see there is also an email option available in this data grid too. As a final example, you can anonymize user information in bulk. This can be a big time saver if you need to periodically remove personal or identifiable information as part of your business processes. You would head over to the user's data grid, apply a filter. So for example, last courses attended that was over 7 years ago.
Long time. Select
the relevant users, and for the mass action option, select anonymize.
Nice one. So next, we're going to look at dynamic labels. Now, dynamic labels are the links in your data grid that you can use to jump to another area of the platform quickly. These can be identified easily by the blue underlined text. In this example, which has been taken from the I'll start that bit again, sorry. In this example, which has been taken from the delegates data grid, the user full name, account name, the start date, and the end date are all dynamic labels. You can use dynamic labels to access invoice information from your delegates data grids, access venue information from your course data grids, access customer information from your invoices data grid, and you can also access target information from your tasks data grid. So let's just have a look at those in practice. From the delegates data grid, we can click on the delegate name to access more information about their user. We can also click on the invoice references to access details of their invoice. Clicking View in Invoice Data Grid will take us to a filtered version of the invoices data grid with only this invoice included. From this page, we can make a payment, we can edit the PO number, we can cancel it, and we can also view the invoice. So heading back to the invoices data grid, the target label is also a dynamic label. We can use this to get more information about the customer that's been invoiced. We can preview to view a pop-up showing details about the account. We can also edit to view more info and to make changes. Also worth mentioning are tasks. Each task in your platform is mapped to an item, a course or a purchase, for example. If you'd like to view more information about the item that your task, I'll just do that again. If you'd like to view more information about the item your task is linked to, you can click the dynamic label from the data grid.
Here is a recap of everything we've covered today. So we've covered how data grids organise your information. We've set up your data grid to view the data that matters to you. Filter and search your data grids to find key items. We've looked at bulk edit data for speedy updates.
Speedy.
And how to use dynamic links as shortcuts to key pages.
Nice one. We are very interested in hearing from you about any data grid tools covered today that you've particularly found useful or they've stood out to you. So which ones do you find the most useful? Are there any that we've covered today that you didn't know about until we covered in today's session? Do let us know in the chat. I'd also like to point out that all of the features and functionality that we've covered today is available on your platform now. So please get in touch with our team if you'd like any support in using the features that we've talked about in today's session.
So, do we have any questions?
Any questions at all? Just going to move over to the chat just to see if anyone has any questions.
Oh, I think we do have one that's come in.
Here's one from Steve here. Can I filter my data grid results based on multiple criteria simultaneously? So yes, Steve, you can apply multiple filters to your data grids at once. And additionally, you can have multiple rules within one filter. For example, you could have a filter called available courses, and the criteria of this filter could include courses with a start date in the future. So courses with the status of available, courses with one or more space left, you can do that.
We've got one from Josie. So how do I reset my data grid view to the default settings if needed? So if you can unapply your filters at any time, either by clicking on them individually or by using the unapply button to unapply them all in one go, which is found at the top of your data grid.
Nice one. Here's a good question from Rach. Are there any limitations to the amount of data that can be exported to Excel? There isn't, but it is worth being mindful that big exports include lots of columns and rows. They can take a lot of resource, a lot of power, which could impact the performance of your platform for yourself and other users. So we would strongly recommend that you complete large exports outside of standard working hours, definitely avoiding peak hours there. You take this one from Liam.
Yes, Liam. Is there a way to automate the export of data to Excel on a regular basis? So not from the data grids. However, if you have the report writer module, you can schedule these exports to automatically send on a periodic basis, such as every morning or every week, and you can send it to whoever you like.
Definitely recommend report writer there.
Absolutely.
Here's a question from Suresh. Can I share my data grid column choices with other people on the team? This isn't currently possible, but I do like this idea. I can see how this would be helpful, especially with new admins as well. So it would be worth submitting this as a product suggestion to our team. I'll certainly be doing that if you don't, Suresh. Nice one.
Good question. Well, I think we've got another one from Steve.
Another from Steve.
Steve. Is it possible to integrate data grid exports with other software? So it's a similar answer to the one I believe Sean answered at the beginning. Automated export of data question from earlier. While you would absolutely share and integrate the data you export from a data grid into another software, the part that may be missing for you here is the process being automated. Data grid exports are always actioned following an admin request. So to automate an export of data, you can instead use the report writer tool.
Definitely recommend report writer.
Yes.
Check for more in the
more
chat.
questions?
I think
that might be it.
Yeah. But yeah, any more questions, guys, just do get in touch with us. You're welcome to speak to people on the support team, me, myself and Hannah and our colleagues. We're not going to bite. We are very friendly. We're here to help. So yeah, we'll take to the end of the webinar. So
before we let you all go, here are the free webinars that we've got coming up for you over the next few weeks. So we've got Searching and Navigating in your accessplanit platform with our very own Sean and Jamie. That's on Tuesday, the 3rd of September at 2 p.m. We've got Dashboard Basics with Stuart and Ian. That's on Thursday, the 12th of September at 10 a.m. We've also got centralise your communications with the Outlook plugin. That's with also Sean and Sarah, and I can confirm Pippa unfortunately won't be included in that one, but that is on Tuesday the 24th of September at 2 p.m. If you'd like to join any of these webinars, please access our website, or you can scan the QR code on screen, or alternatively, you can access the booking links for these through your customer hub.
Nice one. Now, thank you very much for your time, guys. We hope you found this session useful. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.